Welcome back to another 4-way woodturning project with Sam Angelo, Mike Peace, Richard Raffin and myself. Now Mike proposed this time that we turn a twig pot, and well, I'm not sure that this is a pot, but nevertheless I think it's an interesting turn, so all of that in this video. Now, after watching my version, please don't forget to check out what Sam, Mike and Richard did for their own version of twig pot. Now, the first task that I'm going to do is turn a sphere. So I've already done 2 and I'm going to show you on the last one. This is just a rough sphere, so we're going to refine it and make it a perfect sphere, or as perfect as we can with next step. But first one, like I said, I want to rough it out as best I can. So between the centers, this is maple, these two, this is walnut, this is zebrano, quite stinky one. Doesn't have a good smell. Been a bit too aggressive. Now let's see what diameter this is. This is roughly 67. Now that's quite close to this one. I want to do the zebrano on the bottom, which you're going to see what that looks like. So that's around 66 or 67. The smallest one from walnut, which will be the top, is 50. So somewhere in between 66 and what I said on the smaller one, 52. So let's go around close to 60 mil. Okay, that's close enough. Just make it a cylinder. Now I'll take correct measurement. Again, it's around 61. Again, I want to get it slightly smaller than that. Okay, 59, I can live with that. So I mark the entire diameter lengthwise and we split that in half. So let's go 29.5 mil. Mark it from one side, mark it from the other side. This is my intersection, or the middle rather. So I want to keep that as long as possible. Remove this excess here. What I like to do is split this in half and this. Now this length transfer roughly to the end grain. Again, this is just by eye. Then I switch to spindle gouge. Clip those corners away. Back with the skew. That's not too bad. Do the other side. That doesn't look too bad. A little high spot here. Again, this is just a rough sphere for the moment, but I want to get it as close as I can. Less work later. Okay, so now the next step. The next step is I have in the shark jaws a little sort of cup chuck with a little hollow here. So what that will allow me is to hold the sphere in between the centers, and then I can finish up making it as almost as perfect. Now on the tailstock end I have this little contraption, so this just fits over the cone and onto this flat bit here. It's a nice snug fit. I want to get it as close as possible to true, but the pressure between the centers will make it nice and true. So just bring it a bit closer. Now this was held in between the centers like this. So now what I want to do is rotate it 90 degrees like this. And again, for the moment I like to keep these tabs perpendicular to the lathe axis. So first pressure will make this little jig here nice and true, or true as possible. So that's how it should be roughly. Just make sure that it's seated nicely into these chucks. That's looking quite good. Bit more pressure. So now this is cross grain work, so I'll switch to spindle gouge, and all I want to do is, you probably won't be able to see on the camera, but there is slight oscillation. I can see the outline of what should be the perfect sphere. So all I want to do is use a nice shear scrape action just to clean it up. And the other side. Nice and gently. If you take too much, then you'll have to do like a dozen times, switching over back and forth until you get to the perfect sphere. This doesn't feel too bad. Just want to make sure that I removed the tab, and I did a little bit more. And now the center hole here, I'm okay with that. That doesn't bother me. So okay, that's pretty good. Quick sand, 180 grit. Now I'll switch it back to in between the centers. So rotate it 90, and you can see hopefully that this already looks like a really good sphere. Now from the jam chuck here, or the cup chuck, there is a little mark here. So this time I like to use just a light pressure. And yeah, that's pretty good. A little oscillation, but not much. Now again, this is now between the centers, so Now the cuts are going from top to the bottom, nice and gently, removing just the high spots. That's pretty good. Again, another quick sand. This Zebrano just stinks quite bad. I love how it looks, but man, it doesn't have good smell. Now, just in case, I'm going to flip it one more time and see if I have to remove any other just a tiny bit. Polish it up real quick with shavings. It's oscillating because I haven't put it the right way in the chuck, but that's one quite perfect, almost perfect sphere, and nice and quick, easy way. So I'll do that for the other two, and I'll show you then the next stage. Now the spheres are finished. As you can see, they turn out quite nicely. Again, really nice and fast method, isn't that complicated, and you get decent enough results. Now let's turn the base for it. This is from an old palette. It was on the bottom of the palette, and it looks like a sapele mahogany. Now this isn't the square, but I mean that doesn't matter for what I'm trying to do here. Now usually you would mount this between the centers and in the center of the blank, roughly there. But what I want to do is make it offset, so I'll go roughly, I don't know what's that, 22 mil, give or take. Let's see how my eye is. That's 22 mil. And this way I want to go in the center, so I'll mark from one side and the other, so in between these two lines is my center, so I'll do that on the other side as well. So that's my center, so that goes between the headstock or the drive dog and the tailstock, which I'll actually retract a bit. This is my Continental spindle gouge, almost 32 mil across, I believe. Yeah, 32 mil wide, which I use for roughing down spindles. This is rotating at 1300 RPM. I can see the outline of what it wants to be a cylinder, so just go down to that line for now. It should be a nice dome. Still, you can see I want to get this down to this level, so I need to go down a bit more. Now, since the corners are gone, I can spin this a bit faster at 1600 RPM. I'll do at the corner here down to that point. Oh, I passed a bit more. Okay, I'm going to leave it as it is. I'm covering the gouge with my hand because it's flying everywhere. Now I'll switch to skew. Just want to see where I am. You can see this side still needs a little bit more, and it's also wider here than here. So let's see how this slice tool rest goes up a bit. Since that grain is going at an angle, I don't think this will slice very well. Yeah, that was a little chunk flying off. Okay, not actually that bad. I'm going to just sharpen the skew and clean it up. Nice sharp skew, a nice and light cut. Do the other side. You can see a chunk missing here, but I want to taper this as well. So I think that's actually quite good. Just this corner here. Let's see what's happening. I'm doing this on the fly, by the way. Okay. I think this might be quite interesting shape at the end. Now I don't do this very often, so this kind of intricate shapes, but yeah, I'm kind of fond of that, for now at least. Do the other side. What I want to do is on this flat surface, I want to mark the center. So that's 120, so that's 60. And this way is 50, so 25. So I'll drill that for the screw chuck. But first, I need to sand this. Quite happy with that. So now I'll just double check the center and drill a hole, and then we're going to attach it to screw chuck. Screw chuck, and this goes on. hot dog. Let's see, 1600 RPM. Spindle gouge. Can't see very much. There's no outline or anything. This side is longer than this one. Okay. Difficult part is it's really hard to see where the outline is. Okay, but I can live with that. Just try to clean it up. Okay, much smoother surface. I want to incorporate a sphere, the Zebrano, the biggest one. So this one in. So I want to dig it in, and yeah, so that's the next step. So this is where my center is. Back with a small ball gouge. I really like it for smaller stuff like this. Just to see how it's going. That's almost perfect. Almost. But I would like to set this in much, much deeper. Okay. Now to have a proper glue bond, that's actually, yeah, almost perfect. Now, what I was trying to say is to have a perfect bond when we glue this in, you want to make sure that this is quite similar or opposite of the curve here. So, yeah, still more deeper. Now from this point, I'll switch to a scraper. As you can see, that's almost there. There is a gap, equal gap all the way around. So what I want to do is, first of all, make it deeper. Just that. So this is asymmetric curved scraper. So just make it slightly deeper, and let's see if this will fall in. Oh, that's almost, as you can see, perfect. Yeah, so the next step, as I mentioned, is put the glue on, press this in, bring the tailstock, and let it sit. I'll probably add a few drips of CA glue just to hold it while the white glue sets in. So that's the next step, and I'll tune you in once this is set. Now it's a few days after, and this has time to cure, I hope. Now what I want to do is drill out a hole here for the twigs itself. This is 6.5 mil drill bit. I like to start it with a hand wheel, then you can use the tailstock itself to drill it. Do a bit more. Yeah, I think that should be okay. And with the skew, I'm just going to put a little decoration. Maybe another one. So it looks like a small bead. And I think that's it. All that it's left is just clean up the very bottom of this stand. So this here. Now I could plug this, maybe you know, turn a plug or anything like that. Maybe I'll even do that. We'll see. So this is after one coat of Danish oil. You can see I've plugged the hole with a little bit of ash here. So overall, four different, or actually five different type of timbers, and slightly different thinking on twig pot. And now what I would most definitely do differently is I would stagger these a little bit. From this side it just looks stacked, and what I sort of have envisioned is this one, the middle one, can go slightly further back, and then the walnut can go back in line. So they're also a little bit playful, and also in this direction the middle one should go slightly towards one or the other side. So again, it looks a little bit more interesting. But yeah, overall I think it's a good point for this video, for you to see how I make spheres, and also how to turn this kind of a odd looking shape base. But overall, again, I'm quite happy how it turned out. I have another idea that I wanted to turn, which is quite unusual. I haven't seen it anywhere, but that will be for another video, hopefully again this month, but we'll see.